Do you see him? Looks like me, but it's not me. That is an idiot. 4 days ago, he remembered that God of War Ragnarok is releasing in a couple of days. He also remembered that he doesn't have a PlayStation to play it on. As I said, he's an idiot. So he thought to himself, if I can't play God of War, I'll just make my own God of War game. Can't be that hard. Do I have to say it again? And I'll make it in 3 days, so that I can upload the video about it on Friday. He started by not recording the screen, so all we're left with to see the blockout of Kratos' head is this time-lapse. The idea was to focus on Kratos, because I'm way better at creating characters than creating video game levels. This is also the first time that I went through the whole process of creating a game-ready character, so I wanted to make sure that Kratos looks as good as possible.
I think it's somewhat close. Of course, refining it should get it a little closer.
I'm not that good at likeness sculpting, but after refining the blockout, I think it's good enough to be seen as Kratos. When I blocked out his body, I forgot how massive his muscles are. At first, he was way too small. I kept the individual parts separate at first so that if something seems off, I can always adjust it. Afterwards, I can just merge them all together, smooth out the gaps in between, and refine the shapes even more. Past me might have been an idiot, but he had a few aces up his sleeve. Right now, the body is very, very dense. I need to make it way less dense so that we can actually use it in-game. This is basically the model that I want to use for this. This, as you can see, has way less geometry. So now that everything is placed, 3, 2, 1, go. Woo. Look at that. That's how quick you can become Kratos. The final version of the body has lost all detail that I've added before, but with the multi-resolution modifier, I can just transfer those details over again and then even add a few more to make him look even more muscular and battle-worn, just like a true God of War. To not completely obliterate the performance in-game, you usually don't use geometry to retain those details. That's where baking comes into play.
Very, very smooth. But if you go into render view, you can see, we can still see all the details.
The ingredients that we need are the high density model, the low density model, and an image texture. Once the baking process is done, all the details are saved on the texture. Time to model the armor.
Here's the day 1 ending. I think this took roughly 2 hours. So if we put that to all the other things, maybe we get to like 6 hours or whatever. I'm still optimistic, okay? Looking at all these details and seeing how detailed they actually are, I think I'm gonna cut down on the details a little bit so that I can get it there to, let's say, 60 to 80%.
Idiot past me was suddenly realizing that it will take way longer than expected, focusing way too much on small details like the strap. Nobody cares about the strap.
So I'm not gonna add all the intricate details that we can see here.
Yeah, that didn't matter. Still took 6 hours. I spent half my day modeling the armor while there's so much more to do to finish Kratos. And then I also needed to create the level in Unreal and make sure that everything works. In my head, I thought I could probably add all these threads, bolts, and nuts in the armor, but that probably would have taken the whole day. So I stuck with Thrift Shop Kratos. Oh hey, I can actually automatically rig my character with Mixamo. Oh no. Okay, first I need to UV unwrap all armor pieces so that I can apply textures to them, which means going through each individual piece, cutting them apart, and putting them all into the 2-dimensional texture space. Yeah, so at least I could import him without any problems. Then it was time to add the animations, and that is when everything went downhill. Idiot past me could not figure out how to apply animations from Mixamo to Kratos without breaking them. And here it is. At this point, Idiot past me realized that he couldn't finish the Kratos model and also create a decent looking level with the time that was left. But then he remembered a few months ago I recorded a video where I learned Unreal Engine for 24 hours straight, which I've never released. I could steal the word from that and use it for this project. Just desaturate a few textures, change the lighting, and there you go. We have a cold and wintry forest.
And he's finally in the game. It is time to actually make him look like Kratos.
I've painted a few textures in my time, so texture painting wasn't a problem. Start with the base color, turn him into Nosferatu, add his cute war paint, finish it off with some eyeshadow, and his God of War makeup is done. Slap a few textures together to create the final look for the armor pieces. Copy the same texture to all the other pieces with minimal color changes. Minimal input, maximum output. That's all that matters. Add the beard that I definitely didn't want to add with haircuts before. Totally give up on the fur coat underneath his armor. Who cares about that anyway? Import everything into Unreal and... I think I'm pretty happy with the end result. Maybe my first idea of what I could achieve in 3 days was maybe a little bit too much. Here we see the Shrine of Victory reaching the top. You can now see what you can do in 3 days. Of course, you can probably be even quicker with some things, like sculpting the model. I could have probably done way quicker. Let's actually finish the game that we have here right now, okay? Maybe I'm gonna expand it in the future. Go in here. This looks pretty good, but I had a few more ideas that I wanted to add afterwards. So I spent a few more hours the next day, and here's the final result.